And I do believe that we're recording right here, Joe.
Okay.
So the idea is we're going to check out the hive and see what's going on. Okay, so for my winter, this will have the pillow in it of sawdust, basically. And I'll put this back on just as it is.
And you're going to put that feeder right here underneath this?
That's what I'm thinking. It goes underneath this
queen. Right. We'll check when we get in here, see where your bees are at. If they're up in the top, then you need to put it here. If they're in the bottom, then you probably need to put it down here between the two.
Okay. You know, did I bring my tool down here with me?
Probably not.
I didn't. You did. Well, I can go and grab it.
This is my makeshift tool when I go out. I just stick it in there and give it a twist.
Boy, it is amazing how they end up sticking that together. Isn't
Oh
it?
yeah.
Like glue.
Yep.
Okay. Looks like my water bottles are empty. I filled these up 3 days ago? 3 days ago.
Little pigs.
So they are eating like nobody's business. So I'll fill them back up when we get ready to close it up. And I'm thinking I'm just going to go ahead and take these out of here. You know? Any reason to leave them?
I wouldn't think so. You want to get them back in the spring so they can fill that full comb.
Well, we're going to put those...
Oh, you're going to get away from the jars?
Yeah,
there you go.
I just want to get rid of the jars. Okay, so we'll just leave this as it is, right?
Okay.
And I probably need a tool.
They got it glued together good, don't they?
Yeah, they really do.
Pop this.
I'll freeze.
You've got a lot of bees in here.
That's what I'm thinking. Now,
definitely going to have to split that in spring, or they're going to split it on their own.
when we go to...
You going to turn that back on?
I just did.
Okay.
When we go to splitting this stuff up, what's our fear of our queen going, hey, I'm getting out of here and leaving?
As long as you catch them before that swarming instinct sets in, you're usually okay.
And she'll just stay.
Yeah, usually. But if they're trying to swarm, it's hard to stop that swarming instinct. I've heard it's impossible, but...
I guess I'm just going to leave this like it is for now.
We've got a lot.
Okay, so I got my camera pointed right here.
Okay.
So what are we doing now?
What I do is I usually set my tool in and pop a frame loose.
This
Just kind of crack it loose. Yeah, I usually just set it in there and just twist it, like side to side. Or yeah. And then now you can use your lifter hook on there to lift them out of there. But I usually take one out that gives you space so you don't have to worry about squishing your queen.
Okay. So I've got this one out.
Yep.
This one really doesn't have much action going on.
Yeah, usually they won't. No matter how many frames you got in here, they don't ever want to work those two outside frames.
Okay.
So now you can stick your little lifter tool down in here, that little hook, and you can just rock it, switch it around like.
Okay.
And then you can get underneath it and just lift them right up.
Perfect. Okay. That thing's heavy.
Yeah, you got a lot of honey in there.
Holy moly. So what have I got going on here?
That is just a bunch of honey.
So that's honey on both sides.
Yep, there's probably about 3 pounds in there.
That's heavy.
Yep.
So put it back in or lay it down or what?
You can do either with it. Because this one's got honey in it too. You can just take it and push it aside. Now that you've got space in there, and then just remember to put that one frame back in there where you got it. We don't want to break the brood nest into a bunch of pieces this time of year. Then they have to rebuild everything. So too late in the year for them to rebuild their house. So there you go. The trick is getting it between the box and that little frame there. Nope, you don't want to get in there. Right in there like that. And then just lift her up. These frames are tight. There you go.
Yeah, that one's
A little
got
bit of
honey
honey.
too. Not as much as the.
This one's
that
full.
one. Is it really?
Yeah.
Now we moved these last time.
Right.
Some
we
from the
checkerboarded
bottom
them
to the
around.
top.
Right.
So maybe the ones that don't, they
Yeah,
have a
you
little or maybe
Slide
the,
this all the way over. Where you don't squash any. I don't see any brood up here. This looks like all honey. That frame was full of honey. This one. There's probably 6 or 7 pounds of honey in that frame.
Dang.
All right, so we do have. Looks like we may have some brood. Kind of rotate
Set
that
it
a little
down.
bit, and so you can set it down so you can take a look at it. This side's all honey, but it looked like you might have some brood. Nope, that's all honey too. It's all uncapped honey.
Okay.
I was thinking they may have some brood in there, but it's just all honey.
Yeah, we got a ton of honey.
Yes, you do.
This thing's heavy.
So in the springtime, whatever they don't eat through the winter,
Right?
come take that honey.
Okay.
It'll be dark, because when it sits over the winter and they walk all over it, for some reason all this brood honey always comes out dark and a little bit bitter, but
Sorry guys, it's Christian.
that's all honey.
Do you scrape this off?
Usually I don't in the winter. I leave it in there because they've kind of glued things together to keep it insulated.
Okay.
But in the spring you'll have to come out and scrape all that junk off of there.
So now, is there any reason for us to go ahead and take all of these out?
Not really.
I was going to say, what are we
I was
looking
kind of,
for?
we're looking for brood, for
Okay.
capped brood, open brood, eggs, larvae. This is all going to be honey. Yep. And see there.
Oh my word. That one looks like it's all honey.
It may be. It's got an indentation in the middle of it where there may be some brood in there, but
I'm just saying it looks loady. Solid.
you've got a lot of honey in here. A lot of bees.
I feed these bad boys like, they're at a Chinese buffet every day. Because I'll fill these jars at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, you're gonna need at least 2 supers next year, if not 3. Especially if you keep feeding them like this. All right. So we've got mostly honey. Some crazy wonky comb. What do we got there? Is that a practice queen cell?
It looks
So
like,
we're going to take that out.
okay.
Alright, there's nothing in it. Just want to make sure it's not a queen cell, especially this late in the year. If they swarm, you'll lose them all. Now there is some brood, capped brood over here, on this side here. You want to turn that around? You see it in the camera? And we'll point
This
it
down
out.
here at the bottom space.
Yep. Yeah, that's capped brood. So
Okay.
if you want to set that down, and then we'll look at it, or you can lean in here and we can look at it. So these are regular worker bee cells. See, these guys are chewing their way out there.
How we done?
They're getting ready to hatch out and become part of the hive there. They're chewing their way out of the holes. So these are probably all laid about the same time.
Okay.
So we do have some brood up here, which is good.
They're just kind of late bloomers.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. Very good. I don't see any drone cells. That's what we're kind of looking for because we want to check for mites. And they usually lay their eggs in the drone cells. So it was the way it was explained to me. They feast on the larva while they're in the cell still, and then they stay on the bee after the bee hatches out. And they like to stay in the drone larva more than the regular larva, because it's kind of like the difference between a hamburger and a quarter pounder with cheese. So
they're bigger.
Exactly.
Huh. Okay. Boy, that's right there. A jam.
Yeah. You'll have to get them out in the springtime and put some empty frames in here. So that side looks like it's just uncapped honey, which is good. They'll eat that over the winter. And then this side, I'm not sure. There's capped and uncapped cells there. Blow on them a little bit and make these guys move, and we'll see what's in there. It's just honey. Okay. This is mostly honey with a little bit of brood in it. But these bees are very, very crowded. If this was 3-4 weeks ago, I would have said split it. Because there's that many bees. You don't need to pull this one. Now we can just kind of bring them all back where they came from. Yeah, they're still pulling that out.
Okay. Take all these.
Yep. I usually try to put them all back where they come from. If you had empty frames, you could easily take that honey out, the capped honey.
I've got one empty frame.
I would take one of these capped ones out of there. Probably this one. I think that was the heaviest one, wasn't it?
I don't know. You want to take a look and I'll go grab a frame? Or you want me to pull
Go
it
ahead
up?
and do it.
Okay. This is heavy.
Pick the heaviest one that's capped, and then we'll take that one out of here.
What's this one? It's definitely heavy. Can you grab that gauge?
See, this one isn't all the way capped on this side, but it is on this side. Yeah, I would take this frame out.
Okay.
Now, this honey here is going to be a little bit low on, it's going to be a little high on the moisture content since it's not capped yet. There's actually some brood in there. A little bit of pollen too. See those little colors at the bottom there? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not shiny.
Right. That's going to be pollen. So that's a little bit of pollen from the field. So you got a dehumidifier in your house?
No.
I mean, you don't have a portable one or anything?
A dehumidifier?
Yeah. Okay. I would suggest you got a bee brush, a paintbrush. All right. We'll swipe these guys off with a paintbrush into the hive, and then take this inside. You can either cut it, cap it, freeze it, whatever. But we'll just replace it with an empty frame.
Okay.
And then that'll give them somewhere else to build on. Because they don't, if you're going to feed them all winter, they don't need all this honey.
Okay, so shall I run and grab a brush and the other frame?
I might be able to shake them off in there, but they're going to come right back.
Huh.
So, what is this, heavy?
It is.
Yeah, we're going to need a brush.
Yeah, let me go grab one real quick.
And maybe that nuke box. The empty box you got up there? Had a hard time getting them big enough to eat.
That's the deal. That's what I'm wondering if it's ever going to happen. Little tiny Brussels sprouts.
Yep.
Okay, so
All right.
we
So,
took.
yeah, you're going to want to put that frame back in there. And slide these guys back over, or actually you can put that one back in there too.
Now this was the outside.
I would put it in here, and that'll force them to pull that out and give them an extra room. Otherwise, they just won't use it.
Scoot everything.
Yep. Bring everything backward to one side. propolis.
Propolis. I keep wanting to call it propylene. That propolis gets.
Yeah, she got me before I got her. I felt her crawling on my arm.
Uh-oh.
She got inside my jacket. I hate it when I feel them crawling inside my jacket.
Okay, so we've got that moved back over. And we're going to take this one, blow it off, stick it in here.
We'll do that right before we walk back in.
Okay, so we're going to take this off.
Yeah, let's take that off and set it aside. Check out your brood nest. Probably just need to pull a couple of frames out just to make sure they've got plenty of brood. I think the problem you're going to have with this hive is just not enough space.
Okay.
It's so late in the year you can't split them, and you can't really put another box on for them because it's just too late for them to pull it out and make anything out of it. So
I think I'm loose.
there you go. Imagine pulling that thing out full of honey. That's why the honey supers are shallower. Alright. So I would say let's start pushing this frame aside and get it out of the way. And then we'll check out, see what you got going on here. A lot of honey again.
Okay. You want to take one out?
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull it out because the queen's most likely going to be in this box, and we don't want to be pushing the frames too quick or too tight and squish it. We want to make sure we're gentle around that queen. Yeah, they got everything glued together.
You grab that corner.
Yep.
Got it?
Alright, we got honey and empty cells. And it looks like there's larvae in the bottom of those cells. There are. Yeah, those are all like larvae and eggs in those cells. If you see these guys here, you can look in them. It looks like a little curly worm in there. It's hard to see.
Yeah.
Yep, those are larvae.
There you go.
So those are going to be like 3-4 days old.
Okay.
For the ones you can see pretty easily.
Now we don't see a queen, do we?
No, I don't see a queen on that frame. There's not really enough on that frame to really see a queen. You're going to want to get to a different... Let's go ahead and set that frame aside. So go over there and lean it up against the front of the box or the back of the box. Then we'll check out a couple more frames. Put everything back together the way it was. Hopefully, maybe. Okay, what I do is I take this little blade and I stick it in like this and just give it a twist. And that pops them loose without jarring them too much. And then you can just lift them right on out of there.
That one?
Yep. That one's empty. And I got a little bit of crazy comb on that side. Queen's going to be probably around here. There's a lot of capped brood on this frame. This is the bulk of your, yeah, this is the bulk of your brood nest right here. So this is where you're most likely going to see your queen. Just grab it in the middle or from both ends and pick her up. Okay, go ahead and set that down. We'll take a look at what we got there. So these are all capped worker bees here because they're all, see how flush they are? They're nice and short.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of looking for some drone cell, which is the bigger ones that stick out higher. That's a very nice frame right now, this time of year. Very healthy. I don't see any drone cells in there. So this girl's packed with pollen. See the little pollen baskets full of orange pollen there?
Loaded.
Yep, that's good. Go ahead and put that one back in. Leave some space between it so we can pull that one out. So we want to be gentle so we don't accidentally kill our queen. That's another good frame. I still don't see any drone cells.
Well, this time of year, if they had drones, they'd run them off anyway, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but the drone cells are a good indicator for your mites. If you take it and you uncap a drone cell and flip the drone larva out,
Yeah.
sometimes if they have mites on them, you'll see like little reddish brown spots on that larva, and that's and then that's how you check for mites, because they'll be in there eating on that drone cell. I would say let's put this thing back together and leave these girls alone. Because I don't see any drone cells. Can you push that?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Always do this nice and slow, so if you put it in between your frames, she's got time to get out of the way. And we don't want to kill her.
Did you do this one all the way over?
No, I think it was right here.
So too. 1 second, we need to wipe it on. Okay, so which way are we going now? This one?
Yeah, I would put that one in here, and then I would slide that towards me. And give them that one there next to the bees. Is that all honey, or is that? Oh, that'd be a good one. Yeah, put that one back in there. That'll give them plenty of comb to put brood in. It's got brood in it anyway. Real slow there. And just kind of push these guys back over.
Sarah, do you see anything on my neck right here?
No?
Okay. May just be the collar of the thing.
You want me to pull it down in the back?
Yeah, if it needs,
It's
yeah.
up.
Oh,
There you go.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir. Okay.
All right.
So
So
now-
we can put the top back on it.
Okay. Squish a few, I guess.
Yeah, that happens. Some die so many can live. All right. So now what I would do is I would pick this frame up, set it up there, and brush these bees off as best I could. And they're going to get really mad. And they're going to keep coming back. So as soon as you got as many as you can off there, stick it in that box and close the lid.
What's that side look like over there? Quite covered, yeah.
Yeah, it's still covered. And they make a bee brush. It's about this wide. It's kind of like a dust broom, like a little hand dust broom.
Yeah. You know, I think I should have thought about it. I have one in my garage. It's like a yellow. Yeah, it's real wide.
You're not going to get much more off of that. I would take that, drop it in there, put the lid on. And then hopefully these bees will go back in their house. Let's go with somebody.
I should wear a little sweatband. If it's not, I have to be.
No. They get pretty mad when you start stealing their honey.
So now we just put the lid back on.
Right.
This next.
Yep.
This box back. You want to take the paintbrush and
Sure thing.
can we move a few of them, or are we just going to get them?
No,
Now I left that queen extruder on there.
Right.
That always stays there, right? On the top of this
Some
box.
people use them, some people don't. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no reason for the queen to go up there for sure.
But if she's up there, or if you don't put that,
She can get up there,
she
yes.
can get up there and lay eggs in your honey, right?
She can.
So I thought that was primarily the reason,
Right.
so she didn't get up there and lay brood in your honey.
You're going to have to keep a close eye on these in the spring. As crowded as they are, they're going to need to be expanding in the springtime. You're going to need a nuke on there real soon, and maybe split them out so you're going to have your next hive ready to go.
Well, I'm going to build it here over the winter,
There you go.
and then, you know, what's her name?
Gina?
Gina. She was saying, you know, 1st of April.
Yeah.
So are you thinking that's...
Yeah, usually around 1st to 15th of April is when we can split them and not have to worry about them freezing to death overnight.
Okay. So I'll put it on my thing to give you a call April 1st, and let's talk about how we go. Now, you know, you help me do a lot of stuff, and I appreciate it. And I'm thinking at some point that I can come help you do some stuff, whatever that is. Let me know.
Okay.
I can help
I have an
you.
alderman meeting tonight. You want to go run that for me so I don't have to?
A what meeting?
An alderman meeting?
Sure. No. No more taxes. No.
We don't have no taxes yet.
Well,
We're trying to get a sales tax enacted, but
okay.
we have no, not a sales tax, a property tax. We have no property tax in our city yet.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That would be nice.
And we need one bad.
Yeah, we definitely have one which we don't need. Well, I guess they need it, but I don't need it. Okay. So
Here's your brush back.
You're-
Your phase.
I'm gonna the next day or two, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put my candy box here, and I'm gonna put this back on top, and I'm gonna put my pillow of wood shavings in there,
Okay.
and I should be able to strap it down and leave them alone till April.
Well, I would come back, when you come back in October,
Yeah.
I would kind of peek in here and see where the bees are hiding at. They'll be balled up into a ball. And if the ball is like here, you're going to want to put your food here. If the ball of bees is all down here, you're going to want to put that food in between, on top. You want the food candy right on top of the bees, because if the bees are clustered up in the ball here, they won't come up here to get to that candy, no matter how cold they are or how hungry they are. In the wintertime when it gets cold, they will not break cluster and go that far. They won't travel 2 inches to get to
So
that
would
food.
it make sense just to put it here anyway? Either way,
It wouldn't.
one's above can eat down, and
I
one's
would,
below
yeah,
can eat
I
up.
would probably put it here because all this is honey up here.
Yeah.
There's no brood in this top box. There was like a couple of cells of brood in that one frame. So they're most likely going to cluster here around that brood to keep the brood, what little there is, and keep that queen warm.
Okay.
So I would put that food right here because they'll move up. You want that food right on top of the cluster.
And I'm going to do the chimney in the sugar
Right.
block.
So it doesn't sweat too much.
Yeah, so they could climb up on top of it,
Yeah, they can still move about.
or okay. So you're thinking it's best to put it here.
I would probably put it there.
Okay.
But I mean, as many bees as you've got, and as much honey's in that hive, they won't take much food. They just won't need it.
Yeah.
So, summertime comes, or springtime comes, when you do your splits, take that honey out and keep it too. Because they're not going to need it come springtime. Especially with you feed them like they are. They're just going to keep making more and more and more honey.
So you think we're good then?
Yeah, I think you're good to go. I mean, you've got a lot of bees, but they don't look like they're trying to swarm. I didn't see any queen cells or swarm cells in there. So, I think you're good.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.